Yo. Hang on. I have not been here in a long time. My headset's just now working. Sorry, one sec. Supposed to be watching something tonight. I think Nova opens on in like 50 minutes, I think. I have not been on this channel in a long fucking time. A very long time. My desk alone is very disgusting. It needs to be cleaned.
Shut up, you dickhead, now fuck off!
33 months crazy.
Waifu, thank you, buddy. Yes, very crazy. Very indeed.
Is that all you've got? You must have more!
Yo, can you hold off the DS2 stream till Sunday or Monday, only days I have off?
Sunday is better. I can do it Sunday. I'll do it Sunday. Sunday's better. Saturday I'm busy, so Sunday. Yeah, sure. I need to clean up. And I have cuts all over my hands, which means I gotta wear gloves, or else I'm gonna get plastic in my cuts, and that's kind of, you know, not a good thing. Sunday! Yeah, I'll do it Sunday, that's fine. Yeah, look at this dried out. I think there's alcohol. Everything dried out, damn. No shit. The last thing I worked on, I think I did it off stream and I was ready to throw up. I had to fucking putty and detail and do all this stuff on a guy. I don't think I got it exactly how I wanted it, but we can go back to it. Either way, I do think the last time I was on this channel was probably a week ago. Most likely. Trying to fix these gloves. Poggers. Yeah, the cooking stream was very intriguing, very interesting. It's fun. I think I don't want to cook on stream anytime soon again. I thought it was all right. It's just a matter of you kind of need to prepare stuff like that. Because if not, it's going to be a mess. It's not going to be as good as it should be. I don't give a fuck, bro. I'm human. I don't care. I don't care. Good. I need to put everything away. Everything goes away, even the WoW stick. Wow! WoW stick. I can show you. I've got OGs. I have a bag of them. I'll show you. I bought them a long ass time ago. You're way good. I don't think you've got recasts. I think the guy who is selling them is legit. I've been eyeballing, like, I don't buy sculpts, right? I'm looking for unreleased stuff personally. I'm not interested in like current sculpts. But some of these idiots, man, they got people scanned people scanned miniatures, okay? They scanned Games Workshop sculpts and they were printing them, 3D printing them. Yikes, dude. That's pretty illegal. You know, you do you, but I'm not doing that. That's horrible. I could show you in a sec. You're looking for long drawing? You should be good. Here's an OG long drawing. Yeah. Well, even I'm selling off my OG stuff. I sold a bunch of OG stuff locally, and the guy loved it. It's just because I've got too much of it. Again, I've collected dwarves for fucking, I don't know, 15 years probably. Look the same? Yeah, you're good. Yeah, exactly. I've got even more OG stuff. It's just because there's too many. I've got a lot of them. And you have to kind of realize it's like, when are you ever going to make that many? Right? Whether it was from lots back in the day, or on eBay, or in person, I'm never going to make the same sculpt 3 times. Come on. I still have Cazadors. I've got, like, I sold one, I got you one, I think, and then I have, like, 2 more or something. So. And there's no variations of sculpts. You know, if you're a collector and you wanted, like, oh, the variant of Cazador with this and that, it's like, that doesn't exist. There's different packagings for different eras of sculpts, which people can collect, but I don't. Yeah, the Rangers are good. Yeah, the guy who actually bought stuff from me is like, we're the Rangers. I'm like, I sold them. He's like, damn, they're OG. I was thinking they'd re-release the Rangers because they're kind of popular. They're actually like a classic, you know, I think they're like second generation, or second iteration of Rangers, right? Because the first ones were pre-Slaughter, so they had like the big flat bases. Those were lead. And they had the shields. And then the update to them, I think, was 4th edition. And maybe even less, because they used to be called Bugman's. Maybe it was 4th edition, I'm not sure. The Windrose single's out. Yeah, maybe for you. Magnus, yo, buddy. Yeah, for me it's not, because I'm Canadian. It may be 4th edition. I'm not too familiar with 4th edition stuff, because that's not my era. That's not my nostalgia. I know 2006 onwards is like what I know. It's like Middle Hammer Dwarves. That's my shit. No, it'll be out tonight at midnight. It's based on where you live. Spotify works on hours. Okay. Yep. Well, I'm 27, bro. I don't know how old you are, 30-something? $28? Okay, there you go. Hey, you know what's up, man. Olge. Yeah, right now I'm going after signatures. Very inexpensive ones. I posted it in the Discord. I'm going after the Total War voice actors. I don't buy miniatures, to be honest. Yeah, today I just found, I got Belagar today for $4. Belagars for $4. Thank God the voice actors aren't really high profile. So it's just a matter of kind of finding things that are, they're not popular. And because of that, there's not many of them around, but when you find them, they're cheap. No, he's good. He's the equivalent of Warhammer Total War to, like, the Gotrek and Felix books. He literally gave life to all of those characters. And actually, you know what I did buy recently? Because I'm going to start reading again. I bought the Ulrika series. The big love interest of Felix. I never read her side of the story. Because essentially what ends up happening is... That's a spoiler, never mind. Let's just say, in the end times, she's, yeah. Okay. That bitch was done so dirty. He was done dirty. Max Schreiber was done dirty. Everyone in the end times, I suppose, is just done dirty. But Jesus Christ, pretty anticlimactic for those guys. Very anticlimactic. Felix! I love Felix. What a good lad. Yeah, Felix is just sad. It's just sad what happened to him. But, you know, he is still... I mean, in the Gotrek and in the new Gotrek books, they don't find Felix in Shaiish. Felix's soul is somewhere. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to come back in Age of Sigmar, as he should reunite with Gotrek. In my opinion, maybe for, like, a little bit of a segment. I'm not sure. But, like, the problem with Gotrek and Felix kind of reuniting, I say Gotrek, same shit, is the old stories were always Felix and Gotrek, not Gotrek and Felix, despite it being written that way. Whereas in the new Gotrek books, it's very much Gotrek and his companion, not the companion and Gotrek, right? And I don't think they want that dynamic back. I don't think they want... It would feel so bad having Felix back in the story and Felix is sidelined. You know what I mean? Because Gotrek is kind of that just one-dimensional, I want to kind of atone for my sins and die and fight the biggest thing, and I'm a big, gruff, you know, brute of a man, and what is showering? What's this? Like, he's not entirely a one-note, but he doesn't try to be anything he's not. Whereas, like, Felix, he's a dude. And he's a dude who's dragged along in the worst, like, possible way. And he's kind of been through a lot of shit. He's got love interests. He's got family. More relatable, right? He's a dude. He's a human. Dwarves are not very... They're not human. Like, very different. It's garbage. Exactly. They just don't disappoint. Zaya, buddy. Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, it was also... I mean, it's... I think I've only got through about 3 Gotrek books in Age of Sigmar, and I liked them for what they were. I'd like to read more of them, I just don't have time. But I do think that's how they want it, where, again, Felix and Gotrek, and now Gotrek and whoever. Just a different, different little bit. It's like you wrote 13 books with Felix as kind of like the main character. I don't know. I just don't really... Right now, I don't want to play Total War. I just don't have time. I have no time for even Warhammer, man. You know what? I played Total War recently, actually. Played it for a little bit. And after that, I'm like, okay, that was fun. Let's take a break. And so we did. Oh, my knife isn't even here. I gotta go find my knife. Where is my knife? I mean, the weirdest thing about that Total War DLC is initially they tried to make them very expansionist. Let's go out, let's get shit done, Age of Reckoning style, right? We're here to kind of take our land back and kill you in the process. Like, okay, dwarves do that, but not very... they're not always on the warpath, right? And I feel like with the new DLC, they kind of went back to, like, the roots of what dwarves should be. I don't know if it's changed. All I know is the deeps being added and kind of, like, you know, expanding further into the mountain. Like, that's cool. Be right back. Oof. Hi, Mochi. What's up? Well, I should have brought Lysol to clean my fucking desk. Oh well. Hmm. Yeah, to be fair, only this hand has cuts. Yeah, maybe I'll get back into Total War one day, but right now, not really. It's like when there's too many things to do, it's like, do I even have time to play a game? Or rather, well, if you have time to do this, you have time to play a game, but I'd rather do this. I need to be productive. Even just a little bit. And also, there's Nova Open tonight, actually. They're supposed to be showing something, I have no idea. I think tomorrow is supposed to be the roadmap day where they're talking about, like, what factions are coming to Old World and all that crap, but I'm not sure. That I don't know. Me have no clue. Pretty sure next year is going to be pretty big for Age of Sigmar anyways. We're going to get a lot of, very interesting things. Even Old World. More content, please. If any company was going to give you something, it would be Games Workshop. Games Workshop will sell you a billion things, and you will be set for life. You will buy Warhammer. You will spend your money. You will buy more and spend more money. Where's the toothbrush? God damn it. Didn't I just have a toothbrush in my hands like a minute ago? 3 minutes ago? Where the fuck did I put it? Fuck? Oh. God. Oops! One sec. Mochi, what are you doing, baby? What are you doing, Mochi? No. Run! Escape! This is not League. It's close enough. No, I didn't carve this myself. I did a few modifications, but no. I did all the yellow bits. I glued the belts together. I did detailings. Bum, bum, bum. A lot of work. A lot of work for one miniature, to be honest. Win. Okay, there's no new Windrose song on YouTube. Not yet. There will be. It's supposed to come out at midnight today, but like... Yo, what about right now? What about right now? Give me the single. Oh, shit. Although tonight at midnight, we are Gucci'd. Wonder if I can get all this white shit out without scraping it with a knife, but instead using the sonic scrubber. Kind of, actually, yeah, kind of. That's the problem with working with milliput. Once you sand milliput down enough, it becomes too, it's like a clay, it's like a paste. Then it gets everywhere. Yeah, milliput's all right. I need to try and I mean this is a project that I'm like very much aware of milliput not being good to sculpt with, but it's kind of a one-off, just test it, try it. Because I know green stuff is you know, if you're going to sit here and mix milliput and green stuff whenever you want to do anything, great, but that's kind of tedious. But I'd rather just do like milliput or green stuff, not both. I've seen people sculpt in milliput. I've seen people sculpt in green stuff. I've seen everything. I had to sculpt pouches with milliput and fill in gaps and all that crap, but in the end, it came out pretty alright. I'm happy with it. Obama. Okay, so Nova Open should be 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Song request? Right now, no. Nah, right now I don't really want to be touching too much of the keyboard or anything. Right now, nada. You could post it in the Discord, in the music section. I do actually frequent that a little bit. I'm in the main Discord, stalking posts. No, green stuff and milliput is what people use, yeah. One is fine. One is, like, mushy, the other one's kind of, firm, so you get the best of both worlds. It'll go, but kind of, like, hold its own. Yep. If you're really into it, you could do that, but, you know, really up to you at that point. Not everyone has the time to, again, mix a bunch of shit to, like, sculpt anything, but... My number one problem with doing any puttying is that I end up getting it kind of in places I don't want it to be. Or rather, I'll shave it down so much with, like, alcohol, or, like, smooth it out too much that it kind of, like, bleeds elsewhere. So... at least you can go in and, like, scrape the remaining away and, you know, tidy it up a little bit before you paint it. This guy had a few of those problems, but, I mean, they're all pretty much taken care of once I'm done here. Death Guard Codex before Christmas? I mean, shit, maybe you'll see that tonight. I got no idea. This is a Caradron conversion, yeah. It's a Spearhead, so this is supposed to be Arcanaut Company. It's an Engineers Guild expedition. And these are the explorers. These are the guys who go out and, hey, technology. Nova Open is like an event that they have every year, I think, and it's basically like a game show, but it's a place where you go play games or some shit, like tournaments and whatnot. But there's a lot of like miniature stuff and Games Workshop's there, and they show off new releases and whatnot. Is it every few months or every year? Because I swear to God they had another Nova Open recently. Might be twice a year, 3 times a year. It'll happen in about 20 minutes. They usually do, hey, this new Age of Sigmar thing is coming out, or this new 40k thing is coming out, you know, come take a look, and it's like, oh, cool. Is it in DC? I have no idea. Yeah, people do treat it seriously, for sure. Which ship is your favorite? I like the gun haulers, personally. I'm not really a big Age of Sigmar Caradron guy. This is just my excuse to play, like, Warhammer Fantasy Minis in Age of Sigmar. When I did play AOS, I used, I had Caradron allies when I played Cities. And that was cool. But I'm really waiting for, supposedly next year, Cities of Sigmar is going to pop the fuck off. There's already been leaks. And we've got a shit ton of new Dwarf units coming out. We got Cog, like, fortresses and all these weird, like, mechs and shit for dwarves. Implying everything is, like, you know, not a lie, which I don't think it will be. So, you know. Maybe we get to that point. Maybe by that's out, you know, I'll have a Spearhead done, and Spearhead will already be dead, so it's pointless to build it, but, you know. Yeah. Well, I mean, with the Cities of Sigmar stuff, you kind of need to just have a divide between, like, what are the elves good for? Typically, mobility. What are the humans good for? Well, the all-rounder. What are the dwarves good for? Their technology and their resilience. So. Hopefully, once more Cities things come out, you know. We get more things to work with. Oh yeah, no, for sure. My local GW has a pretty big scene for Spearhead, but I'm a little late to the party. I've basically finished one guy. If this is considered done for me, which I'm not sure if it is, to be honest. Like, I don't even know the basing scheme yet, and I'm just still whittling away. Because, yeah, games will only die if the scene locally is kind of bad, but... Like, I'm pretty sure locally we've got 0 Blood Bowl players, but then you've got, you know, people at certain other stores that have, like, a shit ton of them. I'm gonna watch Nova Open here, yeah. It'll be on in, like, again, 15 minutes. I'll put it on stream. I don't have high hopes, because, like, we've already got Dwarves, and that's kind of all I care about right now, but I still appreciate everything else they come out with. But, yeah. I don't have scissors. I gotta go get scissors. Hang on. Well, I mean, I've been doing Warhammer for a while. Branching out for me is like this is a whole different thing. Yo, pre-show's up. I'll be on there in like 5 minutes. Base primer coats. I just go black. Chaos black, whatever they call it now. I am not a big Zenithal, none of that stuff. Just do it black, done. I'm sure there's better ways to do it, but by God, that's how I do it. You get the black in, you're done. First dude. I just don't have time. No, I genuinely don't, and I convert everything. Like, all of them are done outside of, like, minor conversion work. This is the only person I've, like, puttied in the straps, the arms, the backpack. I drilled the barrel. Because I've converted all of them, right? These are all kit bashes. There's another bit of, like, you know, I still have to do his belt buckle and all that, but without puttying yet for this guy. There's another guy that I did. More puttying. They came out pretty good. I love them. I think they look cool. This guy kind of got puttied a little bit. You know, he's still not done, but this guy, same thing. And then this guy, same thing. So I'm still trying to work through it. And then this guy, but... So... yeah, it just takes a while. With the spearheads, I feel like you can take a bit of extra time, because, like, you can conceptually just go crazy, because you don't have that many things to work with. These are all scraped, yeah. These are done being scraped. They need to be puttied and then sanded now. Yep. Or... yeah, actually, I believe so. I'm almost done. Like, genuinely, I'm almost done. If I can putty everything and then sand it down, I'm pretty much finished. Well, with the infantry, then I have to do the sergeant, then I have to do the special weapons, which are 3 more guys. Then I have to do 3 more flying units. Then I have to do the fucking barge that they're all going on. So, yeah. It's a long, tedious process. Like, I'm not really close. I'm just close to doing the infantry. Like, it's fun to convert stuff, but by God, it takes so long. Mold lines. Gonna see if I can check it out in person tomorrow. Go for it, man. I think you need a ticket to get in, I believe, but, like, it could be cool. Why not? If it's close by, I would totally go. Just see what it's about. These events always just... I don't know if they're every year in DC, but, like... If it's there that year and you live close by, I mean... No hurt in going to see. You're about 9 minutes out. Again, I don't think today's previews are going to be anything crazy. I think tomorrow we're going to get a roadmap. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe today we just get everything. But I guess we'll see. Let me actually go to the page now. Okay. Excuse me. Window capture. Nova open. Okay. I'll leave this here for now. Nova open. I wonder what we're gonna see. I hope it's Old World. You know why? Because Old World's the GOAT. But what about more Space Marines? I need my 50th lieutenant, please. He's got the arm that's a 4th degree lower than the last. It's so cool. But hey, you know what? I respect it. I respect it. More money for GW, more money for Old World. But not really. I don't think 40k funds Old World. Old World funds Old World. Would be cool though. I'm a simp for Space Marines. Are you really? Hey, you do God's work, brother. You give us the Votan. You give us everything. Thank you for your service. You give us the goods. Oh my god, it's here! Excuse me.
My name is Adam. Welcome to the Nova Preview
That's my
Show.
brother.
Today's show is going to be a little different to our usual previews. Instead of focusing specifically on upcoming miniatures, we're going to be giving you a little insight into the future of loads of your favourite games and settings. We'll even be joined by some of the talented people from the Warhammer studio to give you the inside scoop. So, whether you're a fan of the grim darkness of Warhammer 40,000, a daring traveller in the mortal realms of Warhammer Age of Sigmar, or you're engaged in any of our other settings, prepare
Old
to be
World.
delighted.
True, true.
Let's dive right in.
Volume up. Go Trek! He lives again! Go Trek on a horse. He's killing the horse. Oh, it's a centaur. Chaos Dwarves? I knew it. Dude, holy shit, Chaos Dwarves in 4K though. Wow. Chaos Dwarves in 4K. They're coming for Age of Sigmar. Here they come. They look good. They look really good. They look amazing. Actually, they look really nice. That's just hey, that's a precursor to like Age of Sigmar, dude.
Everyone. I'm joined now by Jay and Dan, and we're going to talk about those amazing Chaos Dwarfs that we just saw. This is quite an exciting moment. Loads of new things that even though I'm familiar with Blood Bowl and with Chaos Dwarfs, I'm not familiar with what they are. So maybe you can talk us through them. Dan, lots of hobgoblins going on.
Yes, so we've thankfully got the return of the Hobgoblin lineman, the humble Hobgoblin lineman, there to do all of the less interesting parts of Blood Bowl as far as the Chaos Dwarves are concerned. Get punched, move the ball around the field, that kind of thing. But we've also got a new Chaos Dwarf positioner. We've got the Hobgoblin Sneaky Stabber, and they fulfill the role of sort of hired cut men and assassins. So they're going to follow important players around and stick the knife in when they're not looking.
Amazing, awesome. That's an exciting opportunity to see something new.
The sculpts look great.
That have purely just been there to get punched and
yeah, it gives a chance for the Hobgoblins to find a little bit of the limelight. You know, they're never going to outstage the Chaos Dwarves themselves, but sometimes goblins have great designs of grandeur and this ideal of them becoming stars of Blood Bowl. But we know who the stars of Blood Bowl are, and when it comes to the Chaos Dwarf teams, it's the Chaos Dwarfs.
Speaking of the Chaos Dwarfs, then Jay, two different types of Chaos Dwarfs within the set, by the look of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got the classic Chaos Dwarf blocker. They are back and badder than ever. Some lovely new miniatures, big hats, horns, everything you love.
I mean, they look really damn good. They look really good. They look like the Forge World models, but like
brand new positionals. They use like
in plastic. They look great.
Which they'll drink to spit fire at their opposition. Something, you know, the Chaos Dwarves, they love their fire.
Dude, this is literally the first plastic Chaos Dwarf since like what?
Even injure them. But there's also
3,000 years ago.
Drink a little bit too much, it goes a little bit wrong, and it might engulf them in flame instead. So yeah, so we've got your 2 different types of Chaos Dwarf through that as well.
Incredible. So all of those 4 positions.
Yeah, since ever. No, yes, basically since ever.
I also saw a horror from my childhood. I remember getting mauled by a bull centaur. My friend Henry used to play on me all the time, and the bull centaur is back.
Yes, the bull centaur is back in new Forge World resin kit. There's 2 miniatures in the kit, absolutely stunning miniatures, and any Chaos Dwarf player worth their salt is going to want to pick these up alongside the plastic box to add.
I don't like Chaos Dwarves, but they look good.
Chaos Dwarf roster.
Incredible. So speaking of sort of that punch and speed, there's obviously some new tactics in the offing for the Chaos Dwarf team. Jay, what can we expect to see from the Chaos Dwarfs on the gridiron?
Yeah, so we've taken the opportunity not just to update the miniatures, but also update the skills and the tactics that you can use with them during the course of a game. So your Chaos Dwarf blockers feel very similar to how they used to, but they also have Ironhard skin, as all Chaos Dwarfs now do. And that is a chance for us to update that mutation and that skill from the core book, make it more useful, and it now allows your Chaos Dwarfs to ignore any modifiers to their armor roll. So it's not just ignoring claws, it'll ignore Mighty Blow, anything like that as well. It's sort of to represent them sort of turning to stones slightly through the use of their dark magics. The Flamesmith is great for, like I said, setting fire to people. Hopefully not themselves, but there's a chance for them to knock down opposition players. Your Sneaky Stabbers have got stab, so there's a good chance that they can run in, take someone out with low armor, and then move on as well. But that's kind of how they play. They're very much still a punchy team up front, and you still got that little bit of speed with your Bull Centaurs and your Hobgoblins to score a few touchdowns. I think they're going to be a real terror on the gridiron, and I can't wait to see how people sort of take to them and put them across in leagues and tournaments.
Sounds awesome. As a diehard halfling player back in the day, I've had too many horror stories of getting beaten up by Chaos Dwarfs. So this all sounds suitably frightening, and also relying on a tree man to punch all the Chaos Dwarfs is going to be less reliable than ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shocking. Okay, well, while I reel from that, all of this information is obviously contained within the new Spike Journal, issue 18. Dan, what can we expect in the new Spike Journal?
So anyone who's read a Spike Journal before will know of all the usual fixtures. We'll have some background diving into what the Chaos Dwarves are in the world of Blood Bowl, and some famous teams that we've seen on the gridiron, including the infamous Hobgoblin team, for those fans who have been around for a while. We'll also see 3-star player spotlights covering some of the biggest names in Chaos Dwarf Blood Bowl, as well as say, those returning fixtures. We've got a chat with the Rat, we've got an interview with Tatsina, so those usual fixtures that fans have come to love with Spike Magazine.
Thanks, Jay and Dan, for coming down and telling us all about the new Chaos Dwarfs. It's all really exciting. I can't wait to see them on the gridiron, although a little bit nervous. For the rest of us, we're going to come back in a moment in the Mortal Realms, where we're going to look
These guys, all 3 Blood Bowl players are losing their minds.
Stormcast Eternal releases.
Is this too low? Is the video too low?
Has turned to ruin as the Skaven prove too strong for the noble Stormcast Eternals. Hellcrown may have fallen, but Sigmar's mighty warriors will soon return to save the mortal realms.
Is that too loud?
To fight another day.
Oh shit, new terrain. Give us a dwarf terrain piece! Is that new? That's not new. Oh shit, what the fuck? A big griffin. What is that? Okay, cool. I don't know what that is.
Welcome back. I'm joined now by Matt and Phil from the Warhammer Age of Sigmar team to talk about the aftermath of the Hellcrown experience. Welcome, Matt. Welcome, Phil.
Thanks. Great
Lovely to have you join me. So, with the slaughter at Hellcrown concluded and the Skaven running roughshod across the city, we've got a chance to look at all the new Stormcast Eternal releases that are coming. I wonder if we can just start from the top and talk about the new Stormstrike Paladors.
These are epic cavalry. They're really fast. They hit hard. And they have a certain way of essentially getting retribution for their fallen. So these are a counter-strike in a way, aren't
Yeah,
they?
absolutely. And this is really giving that kind of core, hard-hitting, heavy cavalry to the Stormcast Eternals. And as Phil said, you know, they have this kind of ride for vengeance, effectively, where as other warriors are falling, you know, they're really that second wave that's going to come smash through into the enemy. Devastating charge. They're really fun to use on the tabletop.
Or countercharge if you spend the command points for it. So yeah, they're a really great late game attack that will cinch victory for you.
That sounds amazing. And we also saw some fantastic character models. My favourite, I've always loved, the new Lord Relictor model.
Oh yes, yeah. Well,
that's an old mini.
Back, don't they? I mean, we saw the
like first edition.
In the Realm Gate Wars, Ionis Critborn. Essentially, the
well, he wasn't first. I swear there was a first edition one.
Yeah,
the Lord Relictors are kind of like the spiritual guardians of the Stormcast, and so they have a profound effect on the warriors around them, and they're really pretty mean in a fight as well.
Yeah, and you know, they just give you that really great core, reliable priest unit. Priests obviously very, very powerful in the new edition of Age of Sigmar, the way that you can build up rituals over multiple turns. And this is kind of one of the strongest core infantry priest characters across almost any faction.
Sounds awesome. And I love all the sort of morbid imagery on them. It's so good.
Yeah, of course.
On a similar vein, there's a new Lord Terminus miniature. And what can you tell us about Lord Terminus and their role within the Stormcast Eternals?
Oh, you were right to say sort of morbid imagery. These guys are really the final point of the of a lot of Stormcast journey. Happens very rarely, but these guys can occasionally set the Stormcast out away from their eternal curse of living, fighting, being reborn over and over again. But yes, they're also pretty good at taking off the enemy's heads with their two-handed axes as well, which is, I mean, that thing's going to leave a mark.
Oh yeah, and you know, fun to use and nice synergy with that brand new Ruination Chamber, which is now expanding with a few more options to bring into play.
You segue beautifully into great new Reclusian models.
Because of this new kit, you can now have a great variety, and you could actually field just a Ruination Chamber.
Well, especially with some of the models we're talking about and will continue to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the Ruination Chamber is really being fleshed out as you know, a really fully fledged chamber with interesting synergies within it, interesting abilities, and you know, the Reclusians form one of the core elite units.
They are rank and file of the Ruination Chamber, but each one of them is
pretty
like
elite level,
really high elite warrior. And they come with the Memorians. Those are almost like their squires who are there to remind them of what it is to be human.
Such a great image, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It gives great scale. You can see just how big and powerful a Stormcast is.
You know, one of the common threads that'll apply to all of the Ruination Chamber units is that incredible resistance, right? They've been through so much. They've been reforged so many times. They're going into just the absolute worst, most devastating, most deadly places. You know, whether it's enemy spells or prayers or abilities or debuffs or, you know, different things. They kind of have this ability, unlike any other units in the game, to kind of shrug that off and keep going.
It's a really nice point of the lore and the rules on the tabletop sort of coinciding to give you the right feel. That sounds awesome. Talking perhaps at the other end of the Stormcast spectrum, we've got a new Lord Celestant, fantastic new miniature with great new options.
The new minis look good. Like, I may not like
really
Stormcast, but they look amazing.
Back to back with different units, opens up a lot of builds, and you know, it's just a great option for that kind of general on foot archetype to go in and lead your forces.
I love it. Whenever I play with my Stormcast Eternal Army, I see myself as the Lord Celestant in the ranks. So,
absolutely, yeah.
It's an important part
the general
for me
is you on the battlefield, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's
a beautiful kit as well, and as you said, lots of fun options, and you kind of just customize it to really make your own Lord Celestant.
That's fantastic. Speaking of sort of characters and things that have existed around since that first iteration, I remember learning way back in time about Torglug, and he's been on a journey, and we now have Taunus the Redeemed, just an incredible looking miniature. What can you tell us about Taunus?
So Taunus is a really interesting character because, as you say, it comes from the Realm Gate Wars, really. He's one of the first characters we got to know. His backstory, as you intimated, Torglug, once upon a time, was as a farmer, he was defending his village against Nurgle. And he fought so hard,
thank you, buddy.
Held out for so long, but eventually Nurgle got him. But he was redeemed by Galmaraz, so there was still a bit of goodness in him. They reforged that into Taunus the Redeemed. We've seen his character evolve even more, and he is now a leader of the Ruination Chamber. He's put aside his personal vendettas for the good of his brothers, and he's become a Knight of Xeros. He takes the light of Sigmar to guide the lost.
Sigmar,
so he's had a really
preserve us. Sigmar.
I'm all about a good redemption arc. Just a fantastic journey. The kit doesn't just make Taunus Redeemed, though. It also makes a standard Knight of Xeros. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. The standard Knight of Zeros has a little bit more synergy directly with the prosecutors, you know, kind of flying in, supporting them with that wing. So both really fun options. I love I love Tornus's whole arc, and just seeing that realized on the tabletop is really fun.
So obviously Tornus and the Knight of Zeros, they can get around nice and quick, but my experience of my Stormcast Eternal Army is a little bit slower on their feet. That's where the Stormreach portal comes in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a complete building. It's
Jesus.
Azerite Art Deco style. It's a massive, great, powerful thing. And this has been built by the Stormcast and their aides, the Memorians, to essentially act as a kind of a battery of storm power. That enables them to get essentially teleport, really, in blurs of lightning.
So what the Stormreach portal opens up kind of for the first time is having that option to hold some of your troops back, defend that home territory, and then go through that portal in order to deep strike.
That's awesome.
Deep into the battlefield later on in the game.
The game has a lot of movement aspects to it. Claiming objectives is huge. So, yeah, I think you're going to enjoy it.
Oh, that's awesome. So the showstopper for this set of Stormcast Eternal releases has to be Iridan the Witness. Can you fill us in on
What is that
what they're
guy?
about?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is the first Stormcast to ever take another Stormcast life, which is obviously a huge deal. They couldn't stand to see their brother-in-arms suffer anymore, and that poor unfortunate was pleading for an end, and Iridan gave it to them with essentially a magic axe, and that has given them the gift of oblivion. Now, Sigmar wanted an answer as to why that happened, and Iridan ended up talking to Sigmar himself about this and pleaded their case
What
so
about Grimney?
eloquently and so well that actually
What
it is
about
now
buttered
a formally
sausage?
recognised thing that can happen in the Ruination Chambers, and the Order of the Lord Terminos has come to be as a result of Iridan. They keep the memories and the sagas and the war histories of all those that they have to end. They're very responsible. This happens very rarely, but in a way they are a moral compass for the Ruination Chambers. And naturally they bring vengeance to chaos on their great Morgriff as well, striking like a bolt from the blue. So we've got a really great active character joining the Storm host in this point.
That's bleak and awesome. Now, the kit has a separate component, right?
Yeah, and absolutely. So you can also build this kit as a Lord Vigilant on Morgriff as well. And that gives you two really different kind of roles on the battlefield. And, the Lord Vigilant, as with the Lord Vigilant in the Scaventide starter set, this time with a much bigger mount, is, your kind of classic commander for your Ruination
I like that
Chamber.
it's a big
Also,
griffin. I think that's pretty cool.
formidable
Instead of a
fighter
dragon, it's a
and
griffin.
a lot
Yeah.
of speed with a Morgriff going around the battlefield. Whereas,
That's cool.
Iridan the Witness is a priest, first of all. As we talked about, always a kind of useful archetype, really a lot of powerful prayer abilities that they can use, and has more of a support role for the army as a whole, while being certainly no slouch in combat.
Awesome. That sounds just incredible. Well, look, it's been amazing having you guys come and sort of fill me in and everybody here in on all of these outstanding new Stormcast Eternal releases. Thank you for coming. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Ben from the Warhammer Age of Sigmar team to talk about the future roadmap.
Dwarves. There will be dwarves next year.
So,
Cities of
it's
Sigmar
obviously
dwarves.
a really big year for Age of Sigmar. What are the highlights been for you throughout the year?
I think the highlights for me it's the Dawnbringer of Crusade and those build-up books that took us into Scaventide and the brand new edition, and in particular, personally for me, Spearhead. It's such a great format of the game, and it's been so well received by everybody.
Everybody's playing it right now in all of my gaming groups. Yeah.
I've just come back from a weekend at a friend's where we played 10 games over a Saturday and a Sunday. It's
Amazing.
just great format.
What's your Spearhead of choice?
I don't have a single one. I have a few that I play. So I've just booked into an event actually where you can bring 5 different ones and play 5 games throughout the event, and then aggregate your scores. Yeah,
that's awesome. I can't stop looking at the Gloomspite Gits at the moment.
They're a lot of fun because they've got a bit of everything. They've got some infantry, some heavy guys with the rut guts, and then they've got the speed with the Boingrots as well.
I've never painted like Gits en masse either.
Yeah,
So
nice.
I feel like it's alluring. Anyway, I know you've been hard at work, you and your team, working on lots of stuff for Battle Tomes. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Battle Tomes was a really big project within the studio, and we've tried to look at them from front to back to make them visually different, a lot more content in there from a background and a rules point of view, from photography as well. Worked really hard to make them really exciting, and hopefully they make you feel like it's the first book you've ever bought, that feeling that you get back again.
It sounds awesome. So not just visual, but there's going to be new lore and new rules and things as well?
Yeah, so there's new lore. Obviously, the Age of Sigmar storyline progresses on. We tell you new things that have happened since the Scaventide and the Vermin Doom, and how that has impacted with particularly Skaven and obviously Stormcast Eternals, but also lots of little new nuggets based on all the new miniatures as well.
Sounds incredible. Thank you. So we've talked a little bit about Skaven and about the Stormcast Eternals. What does the rest of 2024 look like?
Oh, so it's packed. So we've got a new Chaos Battle Tome on the way, and a new narrative book as well, which is very much like the General's Handbook, but for narrative play.
Awesome.
So a must buy, I think, for people.
So you're looking to sort of have those really thematic games that link together. That's
right.
the one
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Outstanding. So that's 2024. Obviously, 2025 is rushing in on us. What can you tell us about a glimpse of the future?
More battle tomes, more spearheads, starting with destruction and then death. So the fans of those Grand Alliances have got a lot to look forward to.
Awesome. That sounds great. Well, thank you so much for hanging around and sort of filling us in on like a roadmap for the future. That's awesome. The rest of you, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Warhammer 40,000 beckons.
I want to see some squats. Give me some vote 10.
We're joined now by Stu from the Warhammer 40,000 studio team. Stu's here to tell us a little bit about the Warhammer 40,000 roadmap for the future and talk a little bit about what's happened so far this year. Welcome, Stu. Thank you for joining us.
It's always a pleasure.
Looking back at the year so far, it's been an amazing year for Warhammer 40,000. What are the highlights?
So there's so many to choose from, isn't there?
Right.
So I think we're about 8 codexes this year, I think.
Been a busy time.
Yeah, it certainly has. The Dark Angels.
The best of all of the codexes.
Yep, I thought you might say that. A little bit biased. Chaos Space Marines, we've had the Gene Stealer Cults, Sisters of Battle, Deptus Custodes, Orcs, actually the best faction in 40k.
At least they're green.
They are green, so loads of really, really fun stuff. And we've got plenty more to come. We've also had a couple of things for narrative play. We've had the Pariah Nexus Crusade book, which has been really fun as well. An opportunity to go back and see what the Silent King's been up to in that part of the 40k universe.
Yeah, fantastic. Building out that war zone and giving people something to sort of sink their teeth into from a campaign and narrative perspective is great.
Yeah, and we also then picked that up with the latest match play mission deck as well, also set in the Pariah Nexus. It's been really good fun kind of exploring different bits of the kind of 40k universe through the different lenses.
Fantastic. So that's sort of the year that's been. What about the end of 2024? What can we expect to see?
Yeah, so I think Blood Angels.
Right.
So the second best Angels, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they get their time in the sun between now and Christmas. Lots of really exciting new releases for them. And then it really kicks off in the new year with all kinds of exciting things.
So before we dive into the new year, one of the things I've always loved about the Blood Angels is they just look incredible, right? I think from a visual perspective, maybe the most attractive Warhammer 40,000 army there is. And there's incredible releases sort of coming out alongside this. What's exciting about the Blood Angels for you in this release?
Yeah, so I think one of the really, really cool things, you touched on it there a little bit, they're really visually striking, aren't they? With like the red, the black and gold, the three kind of different ways, I guess, of showing the Blood Angels.
Yep.
So we've got a bunch of stuff that's kind of Death Company themed. We've got the sanguinary stuff as well in the gold armor. So just really visually striking. The return of some really favourite characters. The miniatures team have done a fantastic job bringing those kind of really beloved characters to life in a new way. So that's going to be very exciting.
Awesome. So that sees us through to the end of the year. A little bit of a tease about what comes further down the road?
Yeah, so we start off the new year with Astra Militarum.
Wow, okay.
With the Death Corps. So
Awesome.
obviously people have seen the infantry unit that was released via Kill Team.
Yeah, absolutely.
We get to round that out with a full Death Corps release, which will be super exciting.
That's going to be amazing.
Really, really good. Yeah, I think they're like a fan favourite regiment.
Yeah.
I think most people have like a favourite Astra Militarum regiment. We know that the Death Corps are really popular, so that'll be very exciting. We're going to follow that up with some Eldari launches.
Wow.
Really rounding out some of the Aspect Warriors with some new sculpts for those, which will be really cool. And then some really exciting stuff on the horizon after that for the Forces of Chaos.
That sounds incredible. What a brilliant way to sort of finish off 2024 and then kick off 2025 with an enormous bang.
For sure. I mean, Astra Militarum and Eldari, two of the probably the most popular factions in 40k. So yeah, really good start to next year.
Long-awaited things that people can be really excited about. But
oh yes.
That's really great to have you come and join us and tell us a little bit about the future and sort of flesh out that roadmap for us, Stu. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
As for the rest of you, stay right there. We're going to come back with news from the Age of Darkness and the Horus Heresy. Now it is my pleasure to welcome Andy Hall, Lord of the Horus Heresy from the Warhammer studio team who deals with the Age of Darkness and Legions Imperialis. welcome.
Thank you very much, Adam. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, pleasure. It's really nice to have you here. It has been an amazing couple of years for the Horus Heresy setting. We saw the Age of Darkness launch. It was about 2 years ago now, right?
Summer 22.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a time has flown by. And what's that been like for you and your team?
It's been a crazy ride, obviously. So we came out of the gate with a big box set with loads of cool stuff in it. We did new Mark 6 Space Marines.
Painted a lot of those.
I've painted many of them myself, yeah. We did upgrade sets to turn them into heavy support squad, special weapons squad.
Yeah, them releasing Kriegers is a very, very smart move.
We came out with loads of tanks because we already had the designs in resin, so the same designers got to make them again in plastic, which is why we had so many of those. And then since then, we've brought out Mark 6 Assault Marines. And then, the really exciting thing, we get to expand into more factions. So, first of all, the first wave of Solar Auxilia, more of those.
Those are kind of cool.
Down the line. And then Mechanicum, which is the next big new faction.
Yeah, and that's sort of happening right now, isn't it? We're seeing the first of the Mechanicum in plastic.
That's absolutely right. So, initially, we're taking that dive into Space Marines, giving people a really good selection so they can start their journey in plastic. And then we decided to broaden that offering because the more factions you have in the game, the more people you can draw into it, the more variety you can get.
Yeah, the more excuses you have to buy cool new stuff.
Exactly.
The lure is quite strong. And from a narrative point of view, the Mechanicum offers something quite rich. You know, you've got the Martian Civil War playing out, right?
That's right. You've got a completely different type of army to Space Marines with the Mechanicum. We sometimes like to sort of compare them to fantasy tropes, if you like. The Mechanicum, we very much think of like a sort of undead army, essentially.
Yeah.
You've got these very sort of arcane, mysterious characters ruling it, and they're a little bit like necromancers, raising up the hordes of dry or wet undead.
Yeah, there's something really disturbing about the sort of that flesh and machine melding. You can see that sort of connection to are they properly alive anymore? Yeah.
Particularly because you've got different troop types within that army. So you can have hordes of tech thralls, for example, if you want to go for that shambling zombie horde style army, or you can have lots of robots, lots of automata from more of a sort of dry undead sort of feel. But the Magi are always these characters that are coordinating the whole thing. They're using their cyberthurgic spells, essentially, to sort of control them and focus them in battle. So it plays completely different.
10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Army, but it also offers lots of different play styles. You can go for hordes, you can go for elites, you can go for big constructs, heavy weapons, the whole lot.
That's a really lovely addition to the Age of Darkness and something sort of exciting for collectors to sink their teeth into. So that's happening now.
Yep.
People probably can see them, in their local Warhammer stores or hobby centres. What's next on the horizon for the Horus Heresy setting, be that Age of Darkness or Legions Imperialis?
So specifically for Age of Darkness, first of all, we will carry on our journey into the core Space Marine range. There'll be plenty more coming out for that. Hopefully quite soon there'll be a melee weapon set.
The long-awaited.
The long-awaited melee set, which we've mentioned in some roadmaps in the past. We're probably almost ready to show those, I'd have thought. Much awaited, yeah. There'll be more Space Marine stuff, more core Space Marine stuff. Longer term, we'll start diving into the individual legions in plastic as well. But for the foreseeable future, it's still the core stuff because there's an awful lot there to do. There'll be subsequent waves of Solar Auxilia and of Mechanicum as well. So we'll carry on broadening each of those factions for a little while yet.
That's incredible. It feels like you're sort of just getting started, really.
It's quite funny, after 12 years or so of doing the Age of Darkness setting previously with Forge World and then a couple of years doing it in the plastic range, it's just starting to mature, really. So yeah, when we get into the Legion-specific stuff down the line, that will be the real awakening of it, definitely.
That sounds amazing. What can you tell us about future releases for Legions Imperialis?
Legions Imperialis is a great range because it's all plastic and most of it is drawing off of vehicles and unit types that we already know about for the Age of Darkness game. So it's definitely our ambition long-term that anything that we make for the full-scale Age of Darkness game, we would also make at epic scale for the Legions Imperialis game. That gives us an enormous amount of stuff to explore, so we're likely to be doing that for many years yet. There's a huge amount to do. We came out the gate with a core Space Marine and a Solar Auxilia range, so obviously we want to carry on expanding that, but there's other factions to explore. There's Mechanicum, there's Custodes, there's Sisters of Silence, there's a whole load of stuff that we could do in the future as we come to it, but it's a big job of work initially to fill out the Space Marine range and the Solar Auxiliary range. So that's what we'll be doing for the next few years.
Awesome. That sounds great. Well, look, it's been lovely having you come and join us and sort of inform us on what's happened and is happening for the future of the Age of Darkness and Legions Imperialis. Thank you, Andy. Up next, we're going to the World of Legend with the Warhammer Old World team.
Make it full screen! How do you make it full screen?
I'm joined now by Dan from the Warhammer Old World team. Dan's part of the group that write all of the rules and the laws
good
for the
shit.
Old World game. It's lovely to have you with us.
Thanks for having me, Adam.
My pleasure. It's been an amazing year for Warhammer the Old World. We've seen this renaissance of a system and a setting that I particularly love. How have you found it so far?
It's been wonderful to welcome everybody back to the World of Legend. It's one of our most sort of beloved IPs, and it's something that we as a team have really, really enjoyed delving back into.
Yeah, absolutely. So since sort of it returned, what have we seen so far? What have people been able to get involved with?
So we've seen the release of the core game, and alongside that we had our launch boxes for the Bretonnians and the Tomb Kings, which went out really well. They were very popular and people were really excited by the content. We followed that up with the Orc and Goblin Tribes, the Arcane Journal format, and again, the content in there people seem to be really, really resonating with, so we're happy with how that's been going. And then we just most recently had the Dwarven Mountain Holds return.
For me, I'm super excited by those. Some of the miniatures in the Warhammer Dwarfs range are amongst my favourites. They were actually the first miniatures I ever bought from Games Workshop way back in the day. A tiny little Adam with hair and no beard.
That's fantastic.
Wandering into a Games Workshop store to buy dwarfs. So delightful to see. What have you been doing yourself? Come on, have you dipped your toe in? What's your army of choice?
Absolutely. I mean, when you work at Games Workshop and at Warhammer World especially, it's hard not to. So I've been building up an Orc and Goblin Tribes army. Yes, lots of bits for a nomadic war in particular. I just love the idea of these Orcs and Goblins mounting up and racing off to go and raid and pillage Bretonnian farms and places in the Border Princes, and then racing off again with all their loot.
Those turnip farmers don't know what's coming.
They really don't.
I love it. That sounds amazing. So we've had lots of great stuff in 2024 already. What can we expect to see before the end of the year?
Well, hot on the heels of the Dwarf launch, we have the Warriors of Chaos making their return to the old world.
Awesome.
We're in an interesting time period in the setting at the moment where Chaos has been waning in power a little bit, but with the rise of a certain Ever-Chosen and that doom approaching, Chaos is on the rise again, and we begin to cover that in the Chaos Arcane Journal.
That's very exciting. We're on the approach from a historical point of view to a very exciting time within Warhammer's sort of setting and chronology, aren't we?
Absolutely. The Siege of Prague and the battles around Kislev mark some of the most important points in this period. But we've got a lot of distance to cover before we reach that climactic battle.
It's a way off yet, but you can see it
100%.
distantly on the horizon.
Absolutely. And as I say, we've got so many events to cover, and as anybody who's been following the narrative in the Arcane Journals will see that we've been sort of jumping all over the place and really enjoying the sandpit of this time period we have to look at.
That's really exciting. So Chaos Warriors within 2024. If we look a little bit further out, sort of beyond the horizon, as it were, what can you tell us about what the future holds?
Well, it would be improper, really, for us to follow the Warriors of Chaos with anything other than the Empire of Man.
Yes.
Well, the Empire's coming back.
Classic
land ship
for as long as Warhammer has been around. So again, it just made absolute sense for the Empire to follow up.
That sounds so exciting. The old world.
The elves are dead last. No one wants the elves.
So many of us love and enjoy. It's been really exciting having you come and join us, Dan. Thanks for taking the time. Some amazing stuff from the studios about Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, the Age of Darkness, and the Old World. But we've also got loads on the way for our other systems. Necromunda. Hive Secundus took us underground with the terrifying Genestealer cults. Expect to see another faction release this year, and further into the future, we'll be looking at other factions to add. Kill Team. The big news is Hivestorm, the new edition of Kill Team. We're looking forward to seeing people get hold of the new rules. Going into the new year, we'll continue to release kill teams and box sets to add more scenery and locations to your games. Underworlds. Plenty happening here. Before the end of 2024, you'll see new warbands being released, and in 2025, we'll continue to build up those factions. Warcry. We've just released Briar and Bone, which we know the community were waiting to get their hands on. Blood Bowl. This year has seen some great teams released, including our favourites, the Gnomes. Everybody loves a badger. We've also just revealed the Chaos Dwarf team.
Those Chaos Dwarves look so good.
Soon, and there's plenty more.
They actually look so good.
Well, we've got time for one more reveal, and it's something very precious.
It's the dwarves.
I'm incredibly excited
again,
about, and I hope you will be too. Before I leave you, remember, if you want to stay up to date with the latest Warhammer news, head over to warhammercommunity.com. Now, let's see that extra special final reveal.
Grungni's back. Oh, it's the... Okay. All right. Okay. Well, they weren't dwarves, folks. But you know what? We just had the age of the dwarf for 90 years. I mean, okay. A little underwhelming. It was all right. I mean, not really. The Chaos Dwarves look good. I'm never going to buy them because I don't like Chaos Dwarves, but... I thought it was cool. A little something for everyone. Kylo Ren looking ass. He's the son of the guy. He's the son of the king dude, whatever it is in the War of the Rohirrim. Remember, the main characters of anime need to be idealistic looking. Because that guy's based off the show character. I mean, look, the biggest thing is that you get more Warhammer, not less. That's what we want. Better to get something than to get nothing. I would say that little bit of, I mean, that was kind of a nothing show. It was all right. I mean, also us knowing that we're getting Empire after Chaos is huge. Everyone loves the Empire. Even I played the Empire growing up. You cannot go wrong with the Empire. And I'm very curious as to what sculpts are coming back. Very fucking curious. It's time to bring the Empire back. Get the warrior priests. Bring the land ship. Yeah. I mean, they will be a different aesthetic from Fantasy to Age of Sigmar anyways, right? So... they will not be the same. think it's a matter of, for the old world, I'm kind of just curious again as to what they want to bring back. Because I feel like they could bring back the old Forge World stuff past the point of, like, the commands that they were doing. Unreleased minis, just a ton of good stuff, but only time will tell at this point. It's kind of a no-brainer, you know, to keep bringing back old things that people want to buy, because, like, you're a business, you want to sell stuff. Well, the simplicity of the old world, I mean, that's kind of what I love too, but I do like Age of Sigmar. I like that some of it is a little bit complicated, but for me, it's always Warhammer Fantasy's kind of like king. I like that there's a distinction, right? Like, if Warhammer Fantasy is kind of that baseline, typical dwarf, typical orc, what are you doing with it in Age of Sigmar, right? If it's the next evolution of it, you know, maybe they will make it a little bit hectic. And that's all right. Different game, different people. They need to be distinct, and I think they are, so that's awesome. Ain't the big metal bone man. Yeah, that thing is, it's like this big. Like that big. I don't know, 5 inches tall, something like that. He's cool. I remember him. My buddy had him. I never owned him, but my buddy did. You know, people have used him as, like, the new Nagash, right? So you've got, like, a base this big, but then the mini's, like, that big. It's kind of goofy, but it works, you know, if you like the old one. What the hell? Oh, you bought tickets for tomorrow. Oh, for the thing? 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. Maybe it's just not. I'm pretty sure Saturday is the big day. Oh, wait. What the fuck are we today? I don't even know what date it is today. Aren't we in the middle of the week? Man, I got no clue, brother. I have no idea. We're Wednesday. So Thursday, I guess it's a Thursday. Who the hell's going to like a convention on Thursday, you know? It's kind of weird. Maybe that's why. Seems like a bit of a bizarre time to be doing anything like that. You'd think it would be over a weekend. It's Wednesday to Wednesday. Kit bashes are completely legal, yeah. It's just aesthetic choices. They don't play differently in game, they just look different. Yeah, there was Chaos Dwarves. Not my thing, but they looked really, really amazing. It's just news for what's to come later when we get Chaos Dwarves and Age of Sigmar and Warhammer Fantasy, or like the old world. They looked very good. Slayers were previewed for the old world. What? Where? What? Where? Where are those? Slayers? Today they were previewed? Wait, there were Slayers in the last segment of the article? Sorry, of the stream? Really? Seriously? You got pictures? What the fuck? Wait, why did I turn it off? Am I dumb? Oh my god, I turned it off before the good shit happened. Are you fucking kidding me? Am I being bean boozled? The article did come out, but there's no Slayers. Where? The article's out, but you said Slayers. What Slayers? Empire and then High Elves are next. Yeah, I'm curious. Boom, 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 boom. If you mention a dwarf in my presence, you must fulfill it. I must see the dwarf, or we will have problems. I must see them. Show me the dwarf. Those were not roadmaps at all, just vague talking. Well, the roadmaps are at the end. If you look at the article on Warcom, you'll see that they're roadmaps. They do look like roadmaps. They're there. They're posting them as roadmaps with a layout. I mean, that's what it is. Yeah, yeah. But it's a roadmap. It's a roadmap. God damn it. And there's a bit of information there. I mean, not really anything for me. Like, listen, I appreciate everything that's coming out, but I've already had my fun. We've already got my dwarves. I'm happy. The only thing Games Workshop could do to kind of reel me back in is if we get a Votann Wave 2, and the Votann Wave 2 are great. Yeah, no, you're good. No, it's the refresh, re-release Slayers. Yeah, you're good. I'm like, the dwarf release is basically over. There's no new dwarves. We've gotten everything we need. Yeah, they're like, oh, everyone's some of the favorite factions in 40k, the Eldari. I'm like, really? Do people like Eldar in 40k still? I never hear news about them ever. There's not a single drop of like anything for elves in 40k. Maybe locally, maybe in the spheres that I'm in, I don't hear any elven news. Oh, they're OG for sure. Yeah, yeah. High Elves and Empire, that means Wood Elves released last? Yeah, for sure. I mean, if we're really thinking about it, the Wood Elves are like the least important race out of the ones that are in the narrative. Well, actually false. That would be the Beastmen. The Beastmen are in there as well, so like imagine being a Beastman fan in like 2024. Or I should say 2034. And they get released in 10 years. Because the Beastmen, they got shafted. They got shafted. Was there a new avatar of Kane? I can't remember. Last year? Oh, shit. I guess I just don't pay attention too much to those guys. When it comes to 40k, I guess I'm just not well-versed like I used to be. I used to be pretty ingrained in 40k. I was kind of ingrained in, like, all of the games, but over the years I've kind of, shied away from 40k a little bit. I'd like to get back into 40k. I don't hate it. It's just not my universe right now. Like, even Age of Sigmar is more appealing than 40k for me, which is kind of crazy, but it's alright. It's a subjective world. Yeah. I've just not really, again, it's any 40k news, I'm like, okay. If it's Space Marines, it's less appealing just because I'm not really into Space Marines anymore, but the good news is that GW is still producing content, and that's all that matters. And fans are pouring out their wallets, and that's all that matters. More money spent, more products given. Let's go, Dwarves. Let's go, Dowie. Woo, Dowie. We need more Dowie. Please give us more Dowie. We must have more Dowie. Anything, please. I know we just had the entire re-release, but it's not enough. Bring on the Age of Sigmar dwarves. All right, folks, I am done here for tonight. I'm finished. I'm tired. I haven't really streamed on this channel often just because I've been too busy lately, but I do plan on at least trying to gear back up to it and, you know, finish more stuff because, dear God, this Spearhead's going to take forever and I'm going to get burned out and I don't want that. So, everything is basically done outside of, like, the last bits of puttying, and then when I can putty this stuff, it's finitoed. Like, this guy's basically finitoed. All the arms are filled in. All the little bits, the straps, the belt buckle, whatever it may be, like finishing out pouches and tools. Good. All right. I'm getting out of here. I'm done. Yes, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. And I hope I do too. I need to, I'm going to go relax for a bit with my new air conditioner. My 8,000 BTU. Alrighty. Take care, folks. Be well. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your evening, wherever you're from. Maybe your morning. I'm not sure. And,